Hey YouTube, it's Davo. I'm gonna do a video about finding your own voice. A lot of trouble, a lot of the trouble that people have when singing and starting out, or even when you're established, is finding your own voice. And the problem is your whole life you grew up listening to Metallica or Pearl Jam or Barry Manilow or whomever, and that was your favorite artist. You bought all the albums, and you sang just like them, and now you can't sing anything but just like them. You have all their little trills and riffs that they do with their voice, so then you're stuck. Or on the other spectrum, you do a lot of cover songs, and every song you go to do, you sound like the original artist, and you can't sound like you, or you feel like you're not sounding like yourself, and you want to make a career out of it, but you don't want people to tell you that you sound like James Hetfield or Barry Manilow or whomever that your voice kind of sounds like. Um, Number one on that, there's room for people to sound similar. Um, there's plenty of people that sound closely, not identical, but pretty closely, and they still both have flourishing careers. I think Tracy Lawrence and Jason Aldean, they have similar qualities in their voices, and I'm sure they could sound almost pretty much like each other if given the same song. But they have their own little riffs and characteristics. They're changed just enough to be interesting, and they both enjoyed a very healthy career in the same music genre. So maybe your voice sounds like somebody else, but maybe it's different enough that it doesn't matter. So don't be so hard on yourself. Number one. Um, Number two, I'm gonna show you a little technique that you can use to find your own voice. If you don't ever settle on one thing, you don't sound like anything. You just sound like everyone else. This is a way to kind of find that center and find yourself. I don't know if this method's already out there. If not, it's the Davo Method, and it's simple. There's I think 3 steps to it. Number one, you're going to get yourself a guitar, a piano, anything that will make a note. And you don't need to know how to play it. You don't even need to know chords. All you need to do is find a note on the guitar, just pluck a string and sing one of your scales, sing a riff, sing anything but words or something you've heard before, somebody sing before. I'm gonna give it a shot here. I'm not a great singer, so I'm gonna hit this. This is the A string on the guitar. Oh, so all I did was hit the A string, and I, sang a little riff in that song. And doing so, I've never heard anybody sing that particular riff while strumming just the A string. So I don't have anything in my head, some preconceived notion of what that sounds like. So my vocal cords and my diaphragm and all that, it's at default. It's going with the flow. So that's going to be more your natural sound, or my natural sound in that case. Um, and you can do this with a piano or whatever you want. And I mean, if you're more advanced and you want to you do it, do something further than that, some chords or whatever. Take like songs and do the guitar riff with your voice, or do, if there's a saxophone solo in the middle of a song, sing that saxophone solo, or sing the guitar part, or sing the piano part. There's dozens, hundreds of thousands of little melodies that you can sing with your voice that weren't originally for voice. And what you're doing there is, you can't really, I mean, you're not going to sound like a guitar, you're not going to sound like a piano, so your voice just comes out natural. Okay, so that's step number one. You take all your riffs and your melodies or whatever, and you sing them. And the second part is to record it. And you can complain that I don't have professional recording gear, or I don't have what I need. everybody can get something. Okay, here's what I use a lot of the time, and this is something you can do. I call my own voicemail. So I'll dial my own voicemail, leave myself a message, and I'll sit there and with the guitar and whatever and sing. And that's an easy way if you're in a pinch or in a car and you got this idea or something like that. You can get that down. But I use it for this as well. And you record yourself. And before you do that, I want you to listen to me. Nobody likes the way they sound. George Strait doesn't like the way his voice sounds. James Hetfield doesn't like the way his voice sounds. Nobody likes the way their voice sounds when they hear it recorded and played back. It's just not going to sound like you thought it did, but don't let that get you down. I mean, there is qualities about your voice that people will like. I mean, Willie Nelson has a very distinct voice. I'm sure when he first recorded, he thought, man, that's kind of nasally. I don't know if I like that. And Tom Petty, Dwight Yoakam, they all have very quirky sounds, but it works. So before you even listen to it, don't be disappointed, okay? Just accept it. That's your voice, and know that it sounds better than what you think it does or what you're hearing. I mean, you've heard your voice for exactly how many years you've been alive. So that's like eating a bologna sandwich for every meal your whole life. You'd be pretty damn sick of it. So don't get down on your voice. It sounds good to somebody, and it probably sounds good to a lot of people. So get that out of the way. Record your voice, listen back to it, and try to pick out what you like about it. Don't focus on the negative. If you have this, when you go into falsetto, it sounds really good. Focus on that. Get that better. If you like the rasp in your voice, or if you don't like the rasp in your voice, just work toward the positive end of it. Making the positive things more positive and more attractive sounding. Okay, so that's step number 2. Step number 1, sing parts that aren't vocal parts. Sing things you've never heard sung. Number 2, record it. Number 3, here's the psychological part of it. And I don't know if this will work for you, but this is what works for me. I had to kind of backdoor it, if you will. I had to listen to myself sing, and I had to emulate myself if I was going to do a cover. So I picked out this new song I want to do, and it's sung by whomever. And to not sound like them, I had to think in my head of those sounds that I had recorded, and think, what would Davo sound like singing this? And I had to carry that in my head, that I was emulating myself on that song. So I was doing a cover of myself, if that makes any sense. So you're going to have to do that for yourself. You're going to have to listen to yourself a lot and get used to the sound of your voice enough to where you can project it on other songs that you're trying to cover. So if you're a chick, so if you're singing a Miranda Lambert song, you don't sound like her. You want to sound like you. So what would you sound like singing this Miranda Lambert song? So that's my technique, and it's kind of weird, I know, having to pretend to be yourself, but I think it's a perfect sneaky way of breaking through that barrier, or having to spend years doing scales or going to vocal lessons or whatever. This way you're in there, and you're already sounding like you. And I think this can be done in a relatively short period of time. I think in a week you could start really being you. So I'm gonna cut it short there. And I think that pretty well covers it. So let me know what you think. Click subscribe, like, and comment, and tell me what you think about the video. Tell me what you think I should do next. What videos you think I should cover, and if I'm doing something wrong, or you think I'm harebrained or I'm out of my mind, let me know that too, and I'll take care of it. But so see you guys later. Thanks a lot.